Deku was Cat Noir Part 1. Now, guys, basically, this what if, or series, I wanted to do this because I am actually, because I was on the fence of watching Miraculous because, you know, in my perspective, I thought Miraculous was a straight up just a little girl show. Like, what was it? Like Barbie or something. So I just didn't watch it, and I thought it was like sissy fight. And also, I saw some of the toys or something like when I was younger at stores, and they just looked they just looked stupid, and the villains looked stupid, and the main villain of the show, he straight up at the point because I'm about at episode 6 right now, season 1. Basically, the villain of the show at this point, I hate him. Like honestly, at this point, I would have already been going over there to get their miraculouses myself, bro. I would go over there, just get it myself. But, villains be sending out lackeys to do their bidding. So, basically, this is what Deku was Cat Noir. Now, basically, Deku's going to have a Miraculous, aka the Cat Miraculous, and basically have all the abilities, powers, and eventually have all the, forms that Miraculous or, Cat Noir has. Now, I'm only on season 1, so by the time it's like part 4, when time I hit season 2, I'm probably going to do a little bit more digging on his different forms, all of his different, tactics, but I do know all of his main abilities and his main powers that Deku will learn and basically become a quirked hero by. Now, basically, let's start our story off when Deku's about, let's start our story off when Deku is about, in his, let's start our story off with Deku after school when Deku gets bullied from Bakugo getting his journal, blown up. When Deku picks up his journal, he sees it's all burned up and soaked, and basically Deku's, kind of sad. Deku basically walks down it was a sludge villain tunnel, but the sludge villain tunnel doesn't attack Deku because the sludge villain wasn't there. The sludge villain never escaped jail or whatever it came from, so yeah. So Deku pretty much was walking down the sludge villain tunnel, walked past it, and basically was walking down the street. And Deku saw an old man crossing the street, about to straight up get his pretty much body flattened because it was a huge truck coming his way, and everybody else was on their phones, so they didn't see anything. And also, it wasn't no heroes around. So Deku saw the man about to get ran over. And a short moment of Deku remembering that he wanted to be a hero and basically flashbacks of Deku being told that he can never be a hero. Deku thought saving this one man can probably give him some, relief or something that he needed or some sort of hero release or pleasure that Deku needed. So basically, Deku ran over to the man and pretty much chucked him out of the way, or like grabbed him and ran out of the way, and saved the man. Now basically, the man thanked Deku and basically said, "Thank you, my boy," and pretty much patted Deku on the back. But also the man sliding his fingers on Deku's backpack. The man walks off, and Deku is confused, but, he does feel happy, or does feel accomplished by saving the old man's life. So Deku walks off, basically walking and walking back home. That night, Deku was about to go to sleep when he hears rattling in his backpack. Deku walks over to his backpack, basically opens it, seeing a black miniature fairy cat looking creature basically flying around, and Deku steps back and says, "What are you?" Pretty much saying, "Mom," and pretty much the cat pretty much flies towards Deku's mouth and closes it shut and says, "Stop," and pretty much starts explaining to Deku about how he is given a miraculous, gives him superhuman abilities and powers, and now he's gonna have to save the world from, a villain named Mothman or whatever his name was. I don't know. Dark Moth. I don't even know what his name is anymore. Basically, Deku sees this as an opportunity because now, if he does have superpowers, presumably now, he can become a hero. Basically, Deku is told by the cat that I'm going to teach you all your abilities. Basically, the cat explains the abilities that Deku will have with his what was it? Miraculous. Pretty much the cat throwing a ring towards Deku. Deku grabbing the ring and looking at it. Deku sees it's a pretty good design, pretty cool design, but it's like silver. But basically, the cat says, you need me to activate it. Deku puts it on, and the cat pretty much flies into the ring and telepathically communicates with Deku. The cat says he can only do this 2 times a day, so he'll have to ask for the cat's help pretty major situations because he can only use it. He can only communicate with the cat telepathically for only 2 times a day. So basically, Deku sees this as an opportunity to become a pro hero. Pretty much, the cat already knows about civilization and about pro heroes and quirks and everything, and says that before we can become heroes, we have to get a license. And pretty much, Deku says we have to go to school for that. They pretty much the cat says we have enough powers and abilities to become a hero, but don't aim to be like a #1 hero or anything. Deku says I'm gonna aim for that, and the cat says, well, do I catch your drift, but just be sure we get our hero license and become heroes so we can do the vigilante work or the hero work to track down Dark Moth. Basically, the cat explains to Deku in one of his telepathic, communicating about how Deku has all these abilities. Deku has superhuman strength, agility, speed, reflexes, near a near invulnerability. Deku also has super stealth, able to see in the dark, and also Deku has retractable claws. And Deku, I'm gonna give that. I don't think Black Cat Noir has this power, but I'm gonna give Deku a immortality type of thing. Deku can die about 9 times until Deku dies forever. So Deku can literally, regenerate 9 times if Deku was ever, near death. So if Deku was shot in the head, if Deku was ever hurt to a point of death, because Deku has near invulnerability. So basically, if he was ever shot in the head, or Deku was ever, sorry, scratch that. Deku has near vulnerability. So if Deku was ever injured, brutally by like a villain, or was near death, Deku's body would regenerate itself and bring Deku back from the dead. But he can only do it 9 times until he dies forever. So basically, I'm gonna give Deku that ability, cause it's my what if. So Deku has all the abilities as Cat Noir, and also all the weapons of Cat Noir, aka his bow staff, and also Deku has the ability of destruction, so he can decay objects basically by touching them. And only Cat Noir can only do this once or at a limited time. But I'm just gonna make Deku OP, make him able to do it about, let's say, 5 times a day. So Deku is basically incredibly strong. Isn't OP, but he is able to take down heroes pretty quick, take down other kids or other quirk users pretty quickly. Now Deku goes on the night. Deku goes out during the night and basically train with these abilities when he stops a muggery. It's basically like 4 guys and 2 girls being pretty much harassed by like 4 guys with quirks, and they're basically about to take their money and do other stuff. And Deku was about to, step in. Deku steps in, but the cat telepathically communicates with Deku one more time until the night ends. Pretty much telling Deku to be careful. We are near vulnerability, but we can still be hurt if they hit us with enough force. So Deku says, chill out, and pretty much jumps down from the building he was seeing everything from and lands on top of one of the guys, breaking their back. Deku looks at over there. Deku looks up, and pretty much they look at Deku and says, who's, what, sorry guys, we can't talk right now, they say, who's this kid? And basically, one of the men say, get out of here, kid, before we have to hurt you. Basically, the man taking out a pocket knife. Pretty much Deku says a pocket knife, really? The man tries to cut Deku, but Deku dodges it with pretty much relative ease, but the man gets a good stab in Deku's back of his outfit, and Deku sees this and looks at it, and basically the knife snaps. Basically, the knife straight up snaps on impact of Deku's skin. It feels like Deku got poked by like a stick, but it didn't pierce Deku's skin. So it still hurted, but it didn't pierce Deku's skin or did any damage to him. So Deku looked at the man and says, You should have not done that." And pretty much punches the man through a wall in the alley, making the man knock out and breaking a few bones in his body. The other 2 men pretty much run over to Deku with full speed and both of the men, being brothers, have fire quirks, basically shooting fireballs at Deku. Deku dodges most of them. Pretty much Deku seeing they're low-level fire quirks that can't really do that much damage. Deku jumps on both of the men, Spider-Man style, and basically breaks them or, knocks them out, breaking a few bones in their body as well. Deku not knowing his full strength. Deku backflips over to the woman and says, is this yours? And pretty much, giving them their purses. The woman, thanked Deku, and Deku, pretty much sees the woman kind of blushing over him. Now, basically, Deku's kind of like Cat Noir, but it's just, an anime artwork, the My Hero Academia artwork. It also, Deku has green hair instead of, blonde hair. So, Deku sees that the women are, like, blushing over him, and the cat, or what was it, what was it, what was it, the Miraculous didn't explain to Deku that Deku has pretty much, a uncurable, pretty much, what was it? Well, uncurable thing that basically Deku can't get rid of because, well, Deku has a unsettling sexual, pretty much rise in people's, in women's bodies. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is women are pretty much unnaturally or just constantly attracted to Deku, no matter what. So Deku's confused, but, the next day, Deku asks the cat about this, as the cat leaves the ring and, goes to eat. And basically, the cat, before answering Deku's questions, says, where's your cheese? Deku says, yeah, I got some cheese, and pretty much takes out some French cheese that his dad brought over one time, basically giving it to the cat. Pretty much what was it, Deku says that, I don't know if it's expired or not. Pretty much the cat saying, it doesn't matter. I'm, well, technically not even human, so basically the cat eats it and says it's good. Explaining to Deku that Deku has a sexual everybody around him, or every woman around him, 50% chance they might get a sexual drive for Deku. So Deku, says has a cool power. Basically, Deku saying, so is there any way to turn it off at certain points? And the cat says, no, you can't turn it off, and you can't get rid of it. Sorry, kid. But normally, the past users, aka, I think it was another kid, a blonde-haired kid, back before quirks were a thing, and basically Deku says, wait, you mean that pro hero, the Cat Man? Basically, back then, what was it? Cat Noir, the original Cat Noir, aka the man or the boy from the Miraculous TV show. Basically, the Miraculous TV show takes place in the past before quirks were a thing. Basically, in the past, they were like half of their hero doing was actually erased from existence or erased from the history books, and basically a lot of Miraculouses from the future like casted away into the you know depths of the world. Some Miraculouses were in Japan, some were in America, some were in France, all sorts of other places. Basically, not a lot of people knew about the Miraculouses or even Cat Noir or Ladybug. So basically, they were just not even good heroes. Basically, since pro heroes were a big thing, basically no one actually knew about the, Miraculouses. Only the nerds or, weirdos that were obsessed with the past. So yeah. So Deku pretty much was one of those people that that looked up to the old heroes that were before quirks, and they were technically quirkless or just had powers. So Deku pretty much says, "So I'm his successor or something," and the cat says, "Yeah, you can say that." Now basically Deku trains over the 10-month art training, pretty much training with his newfound abilities, and Deku finding out that he can't really use his powers without using the ring and using his suit. Pretty much putting it under his quirk, application for the entrance exams, saying that it has a transformation quirk that allows him to use his quirk, but he has to transform into some sort of leather suit. It's a pretty weird quirk, and weird quirks out there, so it's not really a pretty berserk quirk and out of the ordinary. So basically, Deku trains, developing his newfound strength, and basically and Deku is pretty strong. He's not as strong as Ladybug, but guys, should I And should I make anybody else in Class 1A or anybody else in My Academia have a Miraculous like Deku, like Ladybug? So guys, go in the comments and name who should have a Miraculous and what should that Miraculous be. So yeah, so guys, let's get into it. Now basically Deku will, train with his abilities, find out his super stealth, his super human strength, agility, speed, reflexes, senses, able to see in the dark, and I think Deku has super hearing. So basically, super senses as well. So basically, Deku, not doesn't have super senses, but he is able to have the same senses as a cat. So yeah. So Deku goes to the entry exams after training at Dayo Beach. Not once running into All Might with Muriel. Deku walks into class. Well, Deku walks into the entry exams and gets ready for his, you know, tryout. So Deku walks in basically in, a black jumpsuit instead of his green jumpsuit. Basically his arm, his, sleeves being rolled up and his ring on his finger. And Deku, walking. Deku gets stopped by, by Ochaku still bumping into Ochaku instead of, him tripping. Basically, Ochaku, talks to Deku. Pretty much, they start talking, blah, blah, blah. And Deku pretty much, you know, gets her number. Now, the Deku's whole entire, what was it? Other, attraction power, that actually works without Deku transforming into his cat Noir form. So that works all the time. So it can never be turned off. So so Ochaku gives Deku her number instead of Deku giving or asking for her number. So basically Deku, walks off and pretty much puts his number in, like, his pocket. Now when Deku transforms, his clothes are like teleported away or something, I don't know. Basically Deku walks off and gets ready and pretty much is set up to a gate. For the written exam, Deku gets the same score because he's still smart. For the, for the whole entire thing, they get filled in about the robots and the tests and everything, and President Mike explains everything to them. They get ready, and basically Deku sees Ochaku, but instead of Deku going to Ochaku, Ochaku comes to Deku, pretty much talking to Deku, and blushing just a lot, trying to, learn a little bit more about Deku, pretty much saying that, some about stuff about her life that Deku doesn't really need to know at this point because they're not even dating. Basically, Deku, does kind of, try to control it a little bit, and Deku actually does control it enough to make, you know, his, his attraction power decimate just a little bit so Deku can actually, focus on the test. But Ida actually steps in and tells, Ochaku to step back, blah, 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 pretty much talking to her, and Ochaku, getting distracted by Ida. And basically Deku, for the whole entire match starts, and everybody else, gets focused immediately. Everybody is told to run off because, there's no real countdowns. There's no countdowns in real fights. So Deku automatically transforms, telling, the Miraculous or his cat friend to jump into the, ring. Basically Deku transforming and running off into, the buildings. Deku jumping the building to building, using his, his retractable staff to pretty much hit all of the, robots and creatures down to the ground, taking them all out pretty quickly. Deku takes most of them out pretty quickly, but eventually gets to the zero point robot. Deku's about to run off, but Deku gets stopped by, Ochaku's screams. Deku sees Ochaku under some rubble, and Deku runs over to Ochaku, kicking the rubble off of her, pretty much helping her and getting her out there as fast as possible. Deku sits her down at the, pretty much, at the, at the, recovery girl's office, and Deku sprints off. Ochaku looks at Deku, pretty much, blushing a little bit, but Deku walking off. So guys, yeah. So basically Deku, gets a pretty good score after the, test is done, and Deku, walks off. Deku goes back to home, getting the note from UA a couple days later, saying that he got into UA. Deku goes into UA and walks into class 1A, seeing Bakugo. Bakugo looks at Deku confused, but pretty much gives Deku the death stare, and Deku looks at him again and again. They look back and forth, and Bakugo's still thinking about how Deku got into UA even though he's quirkless. Deku walks off, pretty much sitting down next to Momo and in front of, what was it, Ochaku, and behind Jiro. Now, guys, this is a good question to ask, guys. So, who should I ship Deku with? That's up to you guys, because I'm going between Momo and, I mean, like, actually, ship Deku with Momo, because it seems like a more better ship. But yeah, so wait, guys, go in the comments, ask me who should have a Miraculous, but also ask me, or give me an answer to who should be Deku's ship. Now, Deku, sitting down there, pretty much flirting with all the girls, but mostly flirting with what was it, Momo and Ochaku the most. So, pretty much Azawa walks in the class and explains to the class they're doing quirk assessments and then get outside. Now, I'm going to stop it right here, guys. I'm not going to stop the video right now, but I'm going to stop the story right here and say that Deku's, whole entire attraction power actually doesn't work on certain people, like, say, for instance, the Invisible Girl and Froppy. So, yeah. So, Deku, for people with mutation quirks, or, like, super weird, strange quirks that change their physical appearance so much, Deku can't use his, what was it, his attraction power on them. So, Deku pretty much walks outside, and they pretty much get ready. So, Deku gets ready, and pretty much get started and is told from, what was it, Azawa to throw the ball. Deku grabs the ball and transforms into Cat Noir and pretty much chucks the ball a pretty good 50 yards in the sky. Deku pretty much has a pretty good score. And for the long jump, Deku obviously aces it. For the race, Deku gets about 3rd place. No, Deku gets about 2nd place. And for the for the grip test strength, Deku gets about 2nd place, and altogether Deku gets 2nd place in total. So Deku, everybody else gets into UA except Mineta. Mineta gets expelled and gets told to, leave. So yeah, so guys, that's basically it. So guys, I'm gonna leave it off here. So Deku goes back home, blah blah blah. Does actually get all the does actually get some of the girls' numbers from class, including Jiro, Momo, and Ochaku's, but none of them knowing for sure Deku's gonna call them or become, boyfriend or girlfriend. So basically, Deku doesn't know who's going to actually, try to date. But yeah, so guys, who should be Deku's ship? Should it be Mina? Should it be Jiro? Should it be Momo? Should it be Ochaku? Should it be the Invisible Girl? Or who? Who should it be? So yeah. So guys, I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a blessed day. But as always, guys, comment down below whatever you think or whatever ideas you have for what else you want to see, or videos you want to see, like custom videos or stop motions. So yeah. See you guys later. Bye. Deuces, as always, guys. Have a blessed day.